Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Darth Marshall Builds here on Midland Earth with me, Lewis Marshall. Today, start of the month, we're going to be looking at doing another Lego news update episode. A couple of updates on some new releases that will be coming out at the beginning of next year. There's also been a couple of, well, more than a couple actually. There's quite a few sets on the Lego Ideas websites that have hit the coveted 10,000 votes mark, so they are now under review. We're going to have a quick look at one of the sets that's actually releasing this month. I don't actually have this set yet, so it'll just be off what I've seen on the Lego website, but quite a few of these sets that we're going to be looking at are quite nostalgia driven, as that's one of the things that Lego seems to be going for at the moment. So if you were born in the late 80s like myself, or the early 90s, and you're a fan of Lego, this might be some news for you. Let's get into it. So we'll start with some of the sets that have been announced to be coming out at the beginning of next year, so January 2026. Quite a few of these are Marvel sets. They've announced quite a number of sets they are releasing at the start of January. Quite a lot of these are actually based around Spider-Man as well, which is odd because I don't think the actual Spider-Man film, Brand New Day, is coming out until towards the end of next year, maybe. So, but it's one of their big franchises. Lego Spider-Man sells, it sells quite well. So, continuing on with one of the themes that they've actually gone with for Marvel sets of late is sort of a battle diorama set. So, this is actually based on the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 film. It is the epic battle Spider-Man versus Sandman set. So this will be coming out January 1st. Similar to the final battle diorama sets that you got for No Way Home, in that it's on a small black base plate. And then you've got sort of the build around it with a couple of minifigs. The set itself is obviously going to be based around the end of that film. So where Spider-Man faces off against Sandman and Venom. Those are the three figures that are included in this particular set. You've got sort of Sandman built up with his swirling sand vortexes, the sort of lower half of the body. A Spider-Man 3 accurate version of Venom, so different to the Venom minifigs that you've had in so many sets over the last few years. And then obviously a Spider-Man minifig, which is movie accurate to Tobey Maguire's. You've got a couple of metal girders, webbing, and things like that, just to sort of build up that particular scene. Price wise, rumours are, from what I can see here in my notes, you're looking at around, at least here in the UK, the £20 mark, US $24.99, probably the same in euros. But certainly, if you want a movie accurate Venom from the Maguire films, this might be a set to pick up, because I don't recall that version of Venom getting a minifig when Spider-Man 3 originally came out. The next set, again, another Spider-Man set for January. This is a bit of a remake of a set that came out a couple of years ago, in that you are getting a Lego Ghost Rider and bike. This obviously does include again a Spider-Man minifig, but the main build of this is Ghost Rider's bike and Ghost Rider himself obviously being the second minifig. So if you are a fan of that particular hero, it's worth picking up. From what I can see from the images that have been released, the flame effects for Ghost Rider in terms of his head. So you've got the standard skull, but obviously this time they've had more detailing around the eyes and the mouth. So there looks to be little flames coming out of there, as opposed to it just being the standard Lego skull that you've had previously. And then it's the sort of the flaming hair pieces that they were used on the Hobgoblin's glider and the pumpkins from one of the earlier Spider-Man sets from earlier in the year, the Peter Parker apartment set. Again, price-wise, because it is just the two little minifigs and the bike as the build, rumours are that you're going to be looking at just under the £10 mark here in the UK, and probably sort of bang on the $10 mark in the US. Because it's such a small price, you're probably not looking at a lot of pieces. Mainly you're buying it for the two minifigs. More than likely is going to be the same Spider-Man torso and everything that you've had previously. So it's the Ghost Rider that will be a bit more of an update and unique. Another smaller set. This is something that Lego have done quite a lot with Marvel villains in a number of years. You've had a Doc Ock, a Green Goblin, and now you are looking at getting a Venomized Wolverine. So it'll be Spider-Man again with a car, because Lego likes to have a vehicle involved in most of their sets these days. And then the Venomized Wolverine to come with it. So again, from the images that I can see, predominantly sort of in a black suit with a little bit of the Wolverine colouring poking through, and then obviously the cowl and the face is made to look like the Venom symbiote has taken over Wolverine. And then it's a typical little car build with Spider-Man to go with it. Probably be a few more pieces in this compared to the Ghost Rider sets. Pricing is, I'm seeing here, around £17.99 in the UK, $19.99 in dollars. So a little bit more in terms of piece is than the Ghost Rider build. And then, because at the end of this year, one of the more popular modular builds is going to be retired in the Lego Daily Bugle. They're actually re-releasing it, but this time it is as a smaller, more condensed modular build in the same style as, obviously, Peter Parker's apartment, Miles Morales versus the Spot, and the Oscorp set. So if you are looking at extending your Lego city using these sort of smaller modular builds, then this might be one you want to pick up. Probably going to be looking at around the £100 mark for this one, because obviously it's going to be a much bigger set. From the images that I have seen around this, you're going to have quite a few minifigs. It's going to have Spider-Man, Miles Morales is Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen, Mysterio. So these are ones that have already been released as part of the original Daily Bugle set, the big build that I've got. So they will more than likely just be reused minifigs from that. From what I can see, there's going to be another Venomized figure, but this time it's going to be Captain America. So that one might be a bit more exclusive to this particular set. There will be a J. Jonah Jameson. And then there is also a new Rhino coming out. So there would more than likely be a Rhino minifig. And then by the looks of it, from the images I'm seeing, it's sort of a mech for the Rhino itself. So maybe a bit more in the vein of what you saw in the Amazing Spider-Man in terms of the character for Rhino. So that was a giant mechanical robot that he sort of sat in. So this is what they're going for. Mechs are actually something that Lego are expanding into quite a lot. I've recently got into collecting some of the Ninjago sets as well. And this year, there's been a lot of Ninjago sets that have had mechs as the build. Obviously, the Marvel wave, they've got their own mechs. So you've had Spider-Man, Venom, Iron Man, War Machine. I think there's a Superman mech out there at the moment and a Batman one. Star Wars has had a few mechs. You've got a Vader one, a Stormtrooper, Boba Fett, Luke Skywalker. So mechs are something that Lego are sort of going into because they are quite simple builds, but they do kind of look quite good. So there'll be a Rhino mech with this Daily Bugle set as well. On to some of the things that Lego Ideas have now hit the coveted 10,000 vote mark. So they're now up for review by the Lego sort of panel. They did release earlier in the week a small video sort of name dropping a couple of sets that are specifically under review. So it's more than likely that because they're name dropping them, they might actually become real sets in the future. One of which, again, this could be quite good for anyone out there that's a Lego city builder. One of them was the Downton Abbey Castle, sort of big country manor. So anyone that's a fan of period dramas and things like that, this could be one to pick up. The design is obviously a big modular of the building itself. Kind of looks a bit like what the idea has been based on, a little bit like Wollaston Hall here in the Midlands over in Nottingham, which, as some of you might know, was used as Wayne Manor in the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. So it kind of looks like that. So if you wanted to adapt it, that could be a Wayne Manor for you, maybe. But obviously that'll come with interiors and the cast from Downton Abbey. So, you know, if you want to get a little minifig of Maggie Smith outside of Harry Potter and other characters from there, this might be one to pick up. With it being a Lego Ideas, design, there is the possibility that Lego will adapt it, make a few changes and things like that. But there might be some more news to come from that further down the line. And one of the other sets, this is where we're starting to get into the nostalgic side of things now. One of the other ones that has hit the 10,000 mark, it's now under consideration, is the Lego Smurf Village. So, for any of you that, and again, Smurfs is quite an old one now, so even if you were older than me, Smurfs is something that you may very well have grown up with. But so yeah, so it looks like the Smurf Village is under review. So from the ideas that's been put up, it consists of 4 to possibly 5 of the little mushroom houses that the Smurfs live in, and then obviously some of the other bits and bobs that they would use. They would obviously use quite a lot of grass features around them because obviously they're tiny, little wheelbarrows and things. I imagine it will come with quite a few minifigs. In terms of the classic Smurfs, you would expect there to be Papa Smurf, Smurfette. I'm struggling now to remember some of the names, but there was an angry one. There was one with a little sort of heart tattoo on his arm. So some of those popular ones you would imagine would come up as the minifigs for that set. The next one, having previously mentioned mechs, this is another mech that's going to be coming out, and this is one that I am looking forward to, especially as a child. It's a program that I watched quite a lot as a kid, especially the original sort of first and second series. It is the Mighty Morphing Power Rangers Megazord. So yeah, we are looking at getting a Megazord mech. Now, the idea of this, obviously, again, it came with the original 5 Power Rangers. So you red, pink, yellow, blue, and black Rangers. And the Megazord itself, from what I've seen of the images, each Zord, so you've got the Tyrannosaurus Zord, Mastodon Zord, Triceratops Zord, Sabertooth Tiger Zord, and the Pterodactyl Zord, they will all be buildable individually, and then you will be able to put them together to form the full Megazord, as well with the Power Sword. Now, personally, I think Lego could be onto something here. Power Rangers has obviously been going on for nearly 30 years now in some variations. I know obviously it's based on an original Japanese show, and they take quite a lot of footage from the Japanese stuff to put into the Western version of it. But this could be something that Lego might want to consider looking at developing as a line, because obviously I would imagine this would sell quite well, because this with the full nostalgia filled emotions with this, building this is, will be a real joy. It's probably what I will end up buying. But you could look at this and see them developing it further as a sort of a range. Once you've had the original Megazord with the 5 Power Rangers, you could then look at doing the Green Ranger with the Dragon Zord as another set. You could do, and then you could bring, Tommy back as the White Ranger with the Tiger Zord, the Falcon Zord. There's so many that they could then look at developing and building on. You could make a range out of that, and people will go out and buy them, because Power Rangers was a big thing growing up as people around my age as kids. It's still a big thing. Netflix, or is it Disney, I think, are looking at developing a reboot. So could certainly be something that Lego could jump on later down the line and develop into a full-blown range, as opposed to this just being a one-off Lego ideas / Lego icon set. But I'm really looking forward to it, and it probably will be something that I will buy. Whether or not you'll be able to fit the Power Ranger minifigs inside of the Megazord or not, I don't know. Depending on the scaling, it might not be possible, so they will probably just sit on a nice little display thing underneath, and have the Megazord behind it. One thing I did see online, someone commenting, is that they are slightly annoyed that they'll have to end up buying 2 sets, because they will want one as the full-grown Megazord set put together, and then they'll want another one of the individual Zords to display against. So maybe that's something that Lego is considering. More money, because people will buy 2 sets of them so that they can have them in each different design. And there are also another couple of Lego ideas sets that were up for consideration. The ramen bowl is something that I've seen. Now, there are other sort of non-official Lego products out there. that I've seen, and you can get all sort of food-based sets around it. Ramen being one of them, and things like that. But this is going to be a full-blown one. So with it being obviously from Lego Ideas, I imagine the scaling of that is going to be quite big. It's going to be very detailed. Be interesting to see how they sort of look at doing sort of like the noodles and things like that in the set. But it would be quite colourful and bright, I would imagine, because they'll probably look at adapting it and putting like nice colourful bits of vegetables in, things like that. So that could be something to do for them to look at it further again. Adapting that would be interesting because, you know, Lego have, and it's not just about builds of things like, you know, Star Wars or Marvel or things like that. You know, they do the Lego icons and ideas set has branched out quite well. So you've had like typewriters, you've had obviously the Game Boy set has come out recently, another nostalgia hit there. You know, you've got the botanical set, flowers, things like that. So I'm not surprised that something like a bowl of ramen, which could look quite aesthetically pleasing, is something that they are now considering developing. But we will have to wait and see. And then finally, the one of the sets that is actually releasing this month, I believe it's probably available on pre-order now for Lego Insider members. And then, from what I understand, the bulk release for everybody else is November 7th, so next Friday. And this is a massive nostalgia hit for people growing up in the 80s and early 90s. It's the Lego Goonies set. So obviously it's the pirate ship, which is found in the cave, and then the interior of that ship. So you've got, you know, a really nice set there that's coming out this month. You're looking at $329.99 in pounds, probably a little bit more in dollars, obviously a bit given on the exchange rate. But it is looking like a really good set. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up myself. I can watch the Goonies, but I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan of it. It's not something that I'll sit there. I'm going to put the Goonies on today. If it's on, I'll watch it, but I don't actively sort of go out to watch it, if you know what I mean. So whether or not I will pick it up, I'm not sure. Time will tell. If I am, it won't be straight away. It will be next year maybe, or before it retires, because it's not one that I'm chomping at the bit to go and get. But you're looking at 2,912 pieces. It comes with 12 minifigs, so all of the kids plus the criminal family. So again, it's going to be a display set. So obviously the back of it will be designed to look like the exterior of the pirate ship, and then inside it's sort of all the caves, the with the organ scene, things like that. So you'll be able to design it and set it up to recreate some of the scenes from the Goonies film. I imagine it will probably have quite a lot of people that will go out and buy it because it's one of those cult classics. Again, it's not one that I'm massively fond of, but it is a cult classic, so I can see it doing quite well. It's not surprising that this is one that, again, from Lego Ideas, I believe, that Lego have decided to jump on and pick, because they're doing quite a lot of nostalgia sets at the moment because they know it's something that people want. So I can see this one doing quite well being set. I actually had someone at work come up to me because they know that I'm a Lego builder and go, please tell me you're buying the Goonies set. You need to buy it and let me know how it is, because he specifically went out and bought some of the Transformer sets because he was interested in getting into Lego, and he asked me why I got into Lego and why I enjoy it. I sort of told him, and he went out and bought a couple of them, and now he seems to be a bit hooked. So he's asking me about the Goonies set, probably in the hope that I'm going to convince him to get it himself. But that's our roundup for today on Darth Marshall Builds, some of the Lego news, the new sets that are coming out in the new year, some sets that are up for review, and then obviously the Goonies sets coming out this week. Stay tuned for more. I will be looking at releasing, hopefully in the next few weeks or so, because I've not even registered all my sets on my Lego app, but the Lego app itself has me down having around about 115 sets, but it's definitely more than that. I'm probably going to be doing a episode based on my favourite minifigs from the sets that I've got. I'm slowly going through, counting through them at the moment, and I'm well over 300 at the minute. There's quite a few of them in like Stormtroopers and things like that, so you've got duplicates of quite a lot. But I'm trying to pick out what are my current favourite sort of top 10 minifigs, and I'll be releasing a video of that. There was more to come from us here on Midland Earth as well. I believe there's going to be a reaction to the latest trailers for Stranger Things 5, Scream 7, and some other bits. Matt obviously is going to continue on with his movie news, and JJ with his random rant Wednesdays. And we're also going to try and get up a few bits as well. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Click that comment button. Let us know what sets you're looking forward to. Are there any of those ones that are up for review that you're interested in? The Power Rangers one, like me, or are you looking at something else? Is there a Lego idea set that's not quite hit the 10,000k mark, but you really want them to do? Let us know. Maybe it can push some votes for it. And we'll see you all again soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.